we want to welcome to the show a Polk County legend at Lake Wales High School. Two stints there as the head coach, and then also starting the program at Weber and also coaching at Warner. So, Coach Shafer, welcome to Sports Central, and we really appreciate you.
Well, thanks for being here. I'll tell you, and I thank the Lord for guiding my life because He didn't have much to work with.
Yeah. I think that could be said for all of us.
Yeah.
Just some of us, there's more clay to try to figure out, right? So over that mold. But Coach, congratulations. You'll be part of the 2026 class to be inducted into the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame. And I got the honor of giving you a ring. And what was that moment like when you found out that you're going to be inducted with so many of the other greats?
Well, it's an honor just in Polk County with all the greats you have. And I'll tell you, even in our own school, Aubrey Whitaker and Campbell and those guys are all going to be in eventually, Billy Washington. And it's just an honor because this is a great county. And I thought before Lake Wales people didn't like us much over there. But you're talking with Bill Castle and everyone, and we had a good relationship. And so I think it's the greatest place I've ever coached, and I've had 5 great jobs. But Lake Wales was an amazing place, and we'll probably talk about it as we go.
Now go ahead, talk to us
Yeah.
about.
So I'll say the greatest thing about Lake
Yeah.
Wales is that I think to win it in any sport, you got to have 5 things. Number one, you got to have administration that likes sports. We had 2 principals that were football coaches. You got to have teachers that want to have coaches in the hallways. They have discipline. That made a big difference. You got to have great athletes, and you got to have great coaches. And lastly, you got to have someone that understands that there's more to just teaching them football. What are they going to do for their lives? Because about 10% sometimes are going to go on and play. And so you hope that you can guide them in that right direction. FCA was a great thing. We started there all the time, and it's still going on. But those are the things, and then those coaches you got to have great ones that really, I was an organizer. I had great coaches that took care of everything. And then when something went wrong, I blamed them.
Yeah.
That's called a plan.
Yeah. So a lot like Bing, who we just had on, you have a passion for helping these guys have somebody else pay for their college if possible. So tell us about the Down and Dirty Lineman Camp you've got coming up and the other things that you've done over the years to try to get the eyes to those athletes. Maybe not Division I athletes, but Division II and NAIA, as long as somebody pays for that school.
Well, the Down and Dirty was an invention of Kelly Scott and myself. And the reason we did it is that when you're a football coach and you're a lineman coach, you're lucky if you get 15 minutes to work with your kids. You'll get that to do something because right away the quarterback coach wants them all over, then the running back coach wants them. So what I decided is I came up here and I decided we're going to have a lineman camp. We only had three teams when we started. We started it on Warner's campus at that time. And the object was that gives you seven periods of an hour and a half a period. We have like 400 kids there now that's there, and it's nothing but offense and defensive linemen. And we teach them how to play. We divide them up in 4 groups, and we had Art Keel and Craig Mark. We had all those before Spurrier screwed it up and made it they couldn't coach off their campus. They were all there, and Ponche twins here from Lakeland.
Okay.
They were both there. And matter of fact, one of their sons was there last year, and we just needed to have them at something where they're the big show out there. And secondly, we teach them offense and defense, so they rotate. They have 2 defensive sections and 2 offensive sections. They rotate and go, because I found out as a coach, you get a kid hurt. When you're at a small school, you don't always have someone that can stick in there. So guess what? Our kids know how to play both sides of the ball, and then when someone gets hurt, we don't have any problem putting one in. So we've done that, and guess what? Linemen never get the honor and glory they should get because they're the ones that win the game. And so we enjoy, and they're fun to be around. Like I think I told you before, the only problem you have is getting them out of the cafeteria because they'll eat for about 2 hours. Now the other things that we started was we started a recruiting fair. I was really frustrated at Lake Wales when your Division I kids pretty much people took care of, but when we didn't have people coming down from the north to see everybody, even our big kids sometimes, because too far to come. They would always go to Miami and come to Terre Haute and stuff. So what we did is we decided that we'd have a recruiting fair, and we invited all the small colleges. Because what do you do with these kids at Division I schools? They don't get a Division I school, but they're so great, or they get missed. There's some great, I'll tell you, I've got some great athletes that no one picked up, but guess what, went on and played in the pros. And so we decided to do that, and we started, so now we have about, and at our recruiting fair in our gym each year, we invited Lakeland and all the schools around. We'd have about 50 high schools in the gym, all on tables and with their film, and of course it made it easier later on when you had DVDs. And they would all come in and they would go around, and all those kids would get a chance to be recruited, because if I had a kid that didn't make it, I had to send them to Michigan or to Indiana or someplace that had junior college football. And the state wasn't going to pay for it. So, I tried to get it started. But then we started NAIA football. Now I had an opportunity.
Yep.
Because now we started first at Weber, but you needed 6 teams to have a conference, but Weber finally agreed to do it. And from there, we added Warner and of course Southeast, and that's a great, now we have 10 teams. But now if a kid doesn't get a Division I scholarship, he can get money and a scholarship. And now those people sometimes pay big money, not Warner or Weber, but some do. But they get an opportunity to play. And then, of course, today, they play too well, and then all of a sudden you don't have them very long in the college anymore. So those are great things.
And to that point, it's hard to win. And I have this. I'm a Bartow guy, so I have this conversation with Coach McGriff and Coach Rudenbar, and it's hard to win. It's even harder to stay on top when you get there. So, Coach, in your 20-plus years, nearly 300 wins between the high school and the collegiate ranks. Talk about what is different about Polk County athletes, and maybe even a little bit about. I saw something on social media the other day talking about what are the active rivalries in Polk County, because things have changed a little bit. But talk about that. You said you had a great relationship with Coach Castle. How is football different now in Polk County or in general than it was back in the 90s? And because I know Bartow and Lake Wales, it's a rivalry. It seems like it flip-flops on who's winning that side of the rivalry recently, and recently it's been Lake Wales. But talk about that, because those were great games.
Well, in Auburndale, when you had Joe Parrish there, what a great coach he was. We had just a lot of great coaches during that time, and the big thing that we at our school, the big thing we did is we shared our athletes. So our kids play, and they still do that. We'll play 2 to 3 sports. We had a lot of kids play 3. The soccer team, I only had one kicker that wasn't a soccer player. I would automatically go over to soccer coach and I'd say, listen, you're going to have your soccer. We're going to have our, what am I trying to say? We're going to have the beginning of practice with the special teams. I just need the soccer players for 15 minutes. Bonani's, those guys went on, and someone went on to the pros, and they'd come over, and for 15 minutes, and we'd share them, and we'd send them back. Baseball. I remember we were playing baseball. Mike Campbell was there, and Ronnie Daniels was a great baseball player and a great football player. And during baseball season, track was going on. He was great in track. He had run a 400. So what we do is we go over and ask him. He would be in his baseball uniform. Say, I know that he can't be at practice there, but we just run him to one of the 400 so we can go to state and then the relay. and then the one time there's some kind of rule he couldn't finish except he had to finish less than 4. He couldn't be over 4th place, or they couldn't go. Some others would be disqualified because they hadn't run. I don't know what the rules were. So he came over and he ran that thing, and he came around, and I remember him coming around, and he was going, as we were going to the final 100, he's going 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he ran and finished up.
Who on 5th?
And I'll tell you, Nancy Denton, we all supported it. When Mike Campbell had his team in the state championship, we called practice of them. We all went on buses and went down and watched them. And I think that we were just really toward it. And I'll tell you, FCA was an important thing. We started 300 kids in FCA in the morning, and they all wanted to be there because we gave them donuts. And Stephen, you have to give them something,
Yeah, that's true of any meeting. If you feed them, they will come.
I'll tell you what, it was just a great thing, and the teachers loved us because we disciplined. The kid got in trouble, and they came to coach. They come to me and say, Coach Shafer, I'm having trouble, so-and-so. No worry, it won't ever happen again. And it never did. And so I don't know, we were just really closely knit. And I don't know if that's what you wanted as an answer, but it's amazing.
Well, absolutely. And as you shift into your thoughts, we got a couple of minutes left, but June 16th, being inducted to the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame for just a lot more reasons than what we were able to get to just in a few minutes here today. But as you reflected back, what are one or two of those core memories you have during your career, whether it's at the collegiate level or the high school level, that you might share with the group at the event at RP Funding Center on the 16th?
No, I don't. Of course, for me, the greatest game we ever played, and Roy Fuqua would tell you, the greatest is when we beat Belgrade Central, and they were ranked number 1 in the nation. And we beat them. Of course, Barnhart was our quarterback at that time, and I remember at halftime, Barnhart. Let's see, I got to keep it the way he said it. Barnhart said, you guys shut him out, and I'll throw 4 touchdown passes.
Of course, he was just inducted into the
Yeah,
Polk
I know.
County Sports Hall of Fame.
Great.
So is that to your point where the QBs get all the publicity?
Yeah.
So the quarterback goes in before the coach, but
Well,
we won't talk about that.
He and Justin were the 2 best I ever had, and they always asked who's better. Well, they were both great. It didn't matter. And Justin went on in baseball. But anyway, so that was a great thing to beat them because Baker took himself out of the game on the first hit by Chris Parker, and then he threw 4 touchdown passes. And I'll say this, probably shouldn't say it on TV, but Damon Irvis caught the pass, and he told me about a month ago, he came up, Coach, I never told you this, but when I saw the ball going over Dell Anthony's head, I almost crapped my pants. I said, that's okay, I did too.
Yeah.
And so that was a great one. And then and like I said, we all went to the basketball, and we just supported each other. And of course, that was a great win. And of course, coaching in Terre Haute South High School when I was there, we had great. Tony McGee it was amazing. And of course, we had more great athletes at Lake. They had great basketball players. We have great football players. Now, when I came over here, and I probably should say this by every time, I'm about ready to run out probably, they took me to show me the school. They took me to the Mulberry basketball game. Now, realize I came down here and I sold my tickets to the championship. We were in the championship at Indiana against Damon Bailey and that group. We had to rent 15. We had to rent Indiana State to go, and I got it cost $1,000 a ticket. I come down here and I Mulberry. I started looking around. I said, Susan, I'm not sure they can pay the officials.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, we do have to wrap up.
Yeah.
Congratulations on not only on a storied career, but on your induction that will occur June 16th at the RP Funding Center. But Coach Shafer, thank you so much for your time.
Well, I appreciate Jack. We had a good time. I'm sorry about the coffee. Oh, your cup of coffee.
We'll catch up again.
Okay.
I promise you, Coach, he's plenty caffeinated, but we'll discuss that off air.